38. Scholars.
His temporary crisis behind him, Zarathustra is back to criticizing and mocking groups of people. Here, he turns his scorn towards the scholars in the academy.
When I lay asleep, then did a sheep eat at the ivy wreath on my head. It ate and said thereby, Zarathustra is no longer a scholar. It said this and went away clumsily and proudly. A child told it to me. I like to lie here where the children play, beside the ruined wall, among thistles and red poppies. A scholar am I still to the children, and also to the thistles and red poppies. Innocent are they, even in their wickedness. But to the sheep I am no longer a scholar, so willeth my lot, blessings upon it.
Nietzsche left the academy more than 5 years before he wrote this book. Here he likens life out of the academy to living out in nature, and Zarathustra is proud of the fact that nature, and children whose minds have not been corrupted yet by the academy, do regard him as a scholar. But the sheep, symbolizing a member of the herd, is affected by herd mentality, which believes academic scholars to be the arbiters of knowledge, so it thinks less of Zarathustra for not being an academic. Zarathustra doesn't mind. He values the opinion of children more than that of academics, and the sheep-like followers.
For this is the truth. I have departed from the house of the scholars, and the door have I also slammed behind me. Too long did my soul sit hungry at their table. Not like them have I got the knack of investigating, as the knack of nut-cracking.
The scholars, he says, do not treat the pursuit of knowledge as he does. For him, knowledge comes from lived experience, from putting himself through spiritual experimentations. For them, it is a matter of nut-cracking, of sitting around and trying to solve theoretical problems. What little food they produced from their nut-cracking left his spirit hungry, so he left the academy, and slammed the door behind him.
Freedom do I love, and the air over fresh soil. Rather would I sleep on ox skins than on their honours and dignities. I am too hot and scorched with mine own thought. Often is it ready to take away my breath. Then have I to go into the open air and away from all dusty rooms.
Zarathustra is burning with the yearning for knowledge, and he needs the outdoors and fresh air to vent the flames. Among scholars, things are comfortable and warm, but they are doing it for accolades, not for knowledge. Only in the wild can knowledge be found.
But they sit cool in the cool shade. They want in everything to be merely spectators, and they avoid sitting where the sun burneth on the steps. Like those who stand in the street and gape at the passers-by, thus do they also wait, and gape at the thoughts which others have thought.
Again, we see the contrast. The scholars think themselves detached from the reality that they are studying, and believe they can gain a top-down view on it. They are just passive observers, but in that, they don't experience what life truly is, so they have no real knowledge of it.
Should one lay hold of them, then do they raise a dust like flour sacks, and involuntarily. But who would divine that their dust came from corn, and from the yellow delight of the summer fields? When they give themselves out as wise, then do their petty sayings and truths chill me. In their wisdom there is often an odour as if it came from the swamp, and verily I have even heard the frog croak in it.
The derisive metaphors keep coming. The scholars are dusty like flour sacks, symbolizing that their ideas are old and archaic, and they croak like swamp dwellers, symbolizing that their spiritual environment has the stench of a swamp, with no fresh water.
Clever, are they? They have dexterous fingers. What doth my simplicity pretend to beside their multiplicity? All threading and knitting and weaving do their fingers understand. Thus do they make the hose of the spirit. Good clockworks, are they? Only be careful to wind them up properly. Then do they indicate the hour without mistake, and make a modest noise thereby. Like millstones do they work, and like pestles, throw only seed corn unto them. They know well how to grind corn small and make white dust out of it.
More metaphors, and here they are meant to show that these scholars have no originality and no true thirst for the truth. They are like factory workers, or like machines, churning out their papers that have no real value.
They keep a sharp eye on one another, and do not trust each other the best. Ingenious in little artifices, they wait for those whose knowledge walketh on lame feet, like spiders do they wait. I saw them always prepare their poison with precaution, and always did they put glass gloves on their fingers in doing so. They also know how to play with false dice, and so eagerly did I find them playing that they perspired thereby.
As anyone who's been to the academy knows, it's not all about learning. There's lots of politics going on, a lot of envy and animosity towards fellow scholars. All the things that Zarathustra finds disagreeable and bad for the development of the spirit.
We are alien to each other, and their virtues are even more repugnant to my taste than their falsehoods and false dice. And when I lived with them, then did I live above them. Therefore did they take a dislike to me. They want to hear nothing of anyone walking above their heads, and so they put wood and earth and rubbish betwixt me and their heads. Thus did they deafen the sound of my tread, and least have I hitherto been heard by the most learned.
Even when he was part of them, Zarathustra was above them, refusing to take part in their petty politics and elevating himself by honestly pursuing truth and knowledge. They hated him for showing them how small they are, and they never tried to understand what he was saying.
All mankind's faults and weaknesses did they put betwixt themselves and me. They call it false ceiling in their houses. But nevertheless I walk with my thoughts above their heads, and even should I walk on mine own errors, still would I be above them and their heads. For men are not equal, so speaketh justice, and what I will, they may not will. Thus spake Zarathustra.
The scholars are a reminder that humans are not born equal. Some are more intelligent than others, and the most intelligent ones are not to be found in the academy. Zarathustra is flying high, heights that the scholars will never reach. He leaves them behind, and carries on.